Okay, let's talk about the spending bill that our government has been haggling on for months. The U.S. House of Representatives on Friday voted 228 to 206 to pass a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill after hours of delays and debating among Democrats, sending the bipartisan measure to President Joe Biden's desk for his signature. But while Democrat leaders managed to hold a vote and the Senate passed the bill, not all members of the party ultimately supported it. So we're going to briefly talk about the vote, and then we're going to throw up some illustrations to show you where the money's going. After all, this is your money we're talking about here, and you deserve to know how it's being spent. By the way, if you appreciate this summary presented in a way that we can all understand it, please click like. And if you're new here, please click subscribe, because I make a lot of videos like this to help you out and keep you up to date. Now, a number of progressives who have consistently called for both the infrastructure and the separate economic package they call the Build Back Better Act, after Joe Biden's campaign catchphrase, they wanted them both to be voted on together, so they voted no on the legislation. Now, 6 House Democrats broke from their party and voted against the bill, including, surprisingly enough, AOC, the young vocal representative from the state of New York. Republicans in the House voted with the Democrats to approve the bill. Now let's go ahead and take a look at where your money's going. Let's go ahead and go over to the iPad now. Let's take a look at some illustrations that I put. $110 billion going to roads and bridges. Now some of the states are pretty huge, so they have, a lot of bridges and a lot of roads, like Alaska, not very populated, but has some long roads. It's a huge state. Passenger rail, $66 billion. Public transit, $39 billion. Airports, $25 billion. Ports, like where the ships come in to deliver cargo, for example, $17 billion. Road safety, $11 billion. Electrical vehicle charges, they're kind of joining Elon in this, in $7.5 billion. And clean energy and ferries, $7.5 billion. Reconnecting communities. Now, it falls into 3 categories. You can see this is transportation. It falls into transportation, utilities, and environment. So those are the 3 parts of the infrastructure part of this spending. Okay, so the high-speed internet, $65 billion. I know that we talked about what Elon Musk's SpaceX is doing with these low-orbit internet satellites. Power infrastructure to distribute electricity and so on. Clean drinking water, protection against climate change, $50 billion. 65, 55, 55, and $50 billion, respectively. Environmental remediation, pollution, $21 billion for the environment. So let's take a look at where this money is going. A lot of it is based on the population. Florida, where I live, is the 3rd most populated state. California is the most populated. Texas number 2. Florida number 3. New York, 4th biggest state. Illinois. So that shows you mainly, based on population, is where the percentage of the money is going for the most part. When you look at the per capita, per person, like we talked about, Alaska has a small population, but they have some massive roads. Long roads, because it's a big state, so they get more money per person. So this is the amount of money per human being in that state. So you can see, states like Wyoming, which is a medium-sized state, but has not very many people, so they're going to get more money per person, for example. So let's go ahead and take a look down here, and we can see that California, $4 billion, highways, $25 billion. A lot of highways in California. I lived there for 20 years. Bridges, public transport, water, and other. Texas, now it's a bigger state, not population-wise, but land-wise, so they have more roads. Or longer roads, so just about the same as California. New York, they have a lot of bridges in New York, and so they're getting $1.9 billion. They have some really older bridges, because that was one of the first states in the country, one of the first. And then Florida, there's not a whole lot of bridges because it's super flat, so they have the mountainous terrain and they don't have a lot of rivers. So they're not going to put as much money into the bridges there. So it kind of gives you an idea. I figure you want to know, since this is going on in the news and a lot of talk about it. And so I figure you'd want to know where your money's going. Where are they going to get the money from? They say they're going to get the money from people who make $400,000 and more. So if that's you, then that's going to come out of your pocket. But I'm sure there's going to be other ways, because I don't think that's going to be sufficient to fill the gap. Take the shovel and fill this hole they're digging more and more and more. I know we've been talking about infrastructure for years, so finally these guys are doing something about it. Whether we should go into debt about it, I'm not a fan of debt, even for the country. But anyway, that gives you an idea where the money's going, and kind of keep you up to date. And thanks for watching. This is The Business Guy. Please like, subscribe, share this video. Take care.